Hi, welcome to Pichon Law Firm Live. My name is attorney Jeremy Pichon. Today we are going to talk about 5 different frequently asked questions that employees have of employers as it relates to protecting themselves in this COVID-19 pandemic world that we live in today. If this information is helpful, make sure you like and share. And also, obviously, if you've watched any of my other videos, I do a small disclaimer. Again, I am a lawyer, licensed to practice in Louisiana, but anything that I say on this particular video feed is not, we're not creating any type of legal attorney-client relationship. But if you would like for me to represent you or you have a legal question, feel free to call our office at 576-0440, and we can set you up with a virtual free consult to discuss any legal matters that you may have. All right, now that all that is done and we've got all the housekeeping stuff away, let's get into it. Question number one: do I have to go to work if I am scared that I'm going to contract COVID-19? The answer is yes. All right. The short answer of it is Louisiana is an at-will state, and so what that means is that employees can be fired for any reason, as long as it's not a reason that is against federal law, which is firing you because of your race or your sex or your religion or something like that. So the bottom line is, if you're an essential worker, you work at a local grocery store or something like that, you are required to go to work. And we'll get into some of the other frequently asked questions about how to protect yourself, or if I'm able, or whether or not you're able to protect yourself in the next couple of questions. But the bottom line is, yes, you do still have to go to work. If you don't go to work, your employer could possibly fire you. If you're in that situation, it would be a good idea to reach out to the employer and let them know what your issues are. And most of the employers that I've seen and heard, they're working with folks to try to help protect not only their customers from contracting COVID-19, but also obviously their employees. All right, question number two. And before we get into question number two, let me explain sort of the occupational risk hazards that OSHA has. And we've provided you all with a link to the OSHA standards. You can go there and look at those. But depending on the type of worker that you are will depend on specifically what an employer is required to provide you in the event that you have to go to work. And at the highest level is healthcare workers, right? So medical healthcare workers, folks that come in, they know that when you go to work, you're going to come into contact with people who have been infected with COVID-19. Those types of individuals, those employers are required to provide employees with proper protective equipment. Very high exposure, and then you have high exposure individuals who may be delivering medical supplies to and from hospitals, and then also people working in the mortuary, working with bodies that have unfortunately passed due to COVID-19 exposure. So those folks are required to have more protective gear than most workers. And then the next level is the medium level of exposure, which would mean individuals who work in let's say, for instance, high retail. The stay-at-home order is lifted. We still have COVID-19. Some states are opening up their doors. So these individuals will have different standards with regards to, what type of protective equipment they have to supply to their employees. And then at the lowest level are individuals who are not likely to come in contact with anybody who has tested positive for COVID-19. And so obviously those standards are a lot lower than the highest standards. So getting into that, the second question that we're talking about today is, does my employer have to provide me with a mask? Well, again, specifically talking about if you work in retail or you're working at a grocery store and something, stuff like that. The answer is no. They don't have to provide you with a mask. Right now, the CDC and OSHA, they've put out guidelines to try to have employers provide folks with masks. And most employers are doing that. I know I went to Taco Bell just before I'm presenting this, and everybody there had masks on. So I can only assume that Taco Bell is providing their workers with masks to protect them. So the answer is no, they don't have to provide the mask, but in all likelihood, they will try to provide masks for you, which goes into our third question, which is can I wear a mask? Okay, your employer is not providing you with a mask, but can I wear a mask if they're not providing me with a mask? Because I'm scared and I don't want to I don't want to contract this stuff. Um, the short answer is it really depends on the employer. The answer is maybe, just depends. Most employers are allowing individuals to wear their own mask, especially now that the CDC and OSHA has come out with guidelines that essentially say that everybody should be wearing masks. So more likely than not, your employer is going to allow you to wear a mask. But legally speaking, are they required to allow you to wear a mask? They don't have to, unfortunately. But like I said, right now, given the times that we're in, most employers will allow you to wear a mask to protect yourself. Because again, you're not only just protecting yourself, you're also protecting other individuals who you may come into contact with while you're at work. All right, which goes to our fourth question. So our fourth question is, what if I'm at work and one of my coworkers, I found out that one of my coworkers tested positive for COVID-19. What do I do? Don't panic. I know you want to panic. Oh my God, I came into contact with this person. I'm going to look. If this happens and you discover that an employee that you or a coworker that you've been working with contracted the COVID-19 coronavirus, there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind and a couple of things you need to do. Obviously, the first thing to do is if your supervisor is not aware of it, go ahead and report it to the supervisor, but try to be discreet as possible. Right now, there's a lot of folks, we don't want to have people given a stigma because they contracted this, okay? So let your supervisor know that, hey, look, this, my coworker, I overheard that he may have coronavirus. Normally what's going to happen is OSHA again has put out guidelines. Your employer will take that person in a confidential manner, talk to them, and if it is in fact the case, they'll probably send them home for 14 days to self-isolate and make sure all any symptoms of coronavirus and all that has passed. All right, and then what OSHA is telling these employers to do is to discreetly find out if this employee had come into contact with anybody within 48 hours of the symptoms occurring. So if you were around this employee, this coworker for longer than 10 minutes, 48 hours after they started to exhibit symptoms, they started to have coughs or stuff like that, then at that point the employer may ask you to self-quarantine and may ask you to leave and stay home for a couple of days, 14 days, just to make sure that you don't have it. And if that happens, then go home. All right, don't make a big stink about it. If they let you go because of COVID-19, not a problem. Go file for unemployment. Get on the couch. Go get stay away from your family. Go get you some chips. Turn on Netflix and have a blast. Okay. So that's that essentially. So can they require you to go home? Yes, they can. In fact, OSHA has even put out guidelines and guidance that allow employers to actually even take your temperature. So again, this is new legislation that's been put out. They call it emergency legislation based on what's happening in the world right now with the transmission of this virus. The last question, fifth and final question is, all right, I'm one of these individuals. I think that I am invincible, all right, and I'm going to work. I work at one of the local supermarkets, and I don't want to wear a mask, all right. My employer is telling me that I have to wear a mask, but I don't want to wear a mask. Can they make me wear a mask? Well, again, depending on your occupational exposure, what level of job, what type of job you have, the short answer is no. They can't require you to wear a mask. But going back to that general principle and general standard in Louisiana that they have the right at will state to get rid of you for any reason, well, that could be one of those reasons. So if in fact you decide that you don't want to wear a mask and your employer is insisting on you wear the mask, just understand they do have the right to fire you. Okay. But technically, can they legally make you wear the mask? No. The answer is no. It's sort of a quagmire, right? No, they can't make you wear the mask, but they can fire you. So in that instance, I would caution against not wearing a mask. And why wouldn't you want to wear it anyways? All right. Right now, I'm telling you, it's going to be best to wear it. Obviously, there are three different types of masks. Right now, the CDC and OSHA is saying that all individuals should wear some sort of a mask when you're out in public. Right now, they're saying at least, at bare minimum, a cloth mask, which is just sort of like a shirt or a bandana. The next level of mask is the surgical mask, and then obviously the most protective mask that you can get is the N95 mask, which medical providers are wearing right now to protect themselves. So those were the 5 frequently asked questions that employees have of employers right now in this COVID-19 world. I hope that this information was helpful. We're going to leave links in the description box below so that you can go get some more information specific to your particular case. If this was helpful, please like, share, comment, find us on Instagram, Facebook, visit our website at www.pichonlawfirm.com. I'll have this video posted there if you want to go back and check it out. But again, during this time, I hope that this is helpful to you. I hope that if it is, you'll share it with your friends and family. As I've said in the beginning, we are here to help. We together will get through this, and I truly believe that in the end, we will be a better country, a better world when this is all over. So, I know it's hard and it's difficult sitting down and just sitting at home. You're getting cabin fever, but I promise you, it's going to pay off. So those folks who are out there working right now, I hope that this helps kind of give you some ease with regards to what your rights are when you go to work every single day. I'm Jeremy Pichon. I hope this was helpful. Until next time, I appreciate you watching. Thank you.